Well, we are back at it doing another episode of A Legal Newbie and a Lawyer. I'm with Andrew Helland. Today we're going to talk about car accidents and what to do specifically right after a car accident. So Andrew, what should you do immediately after a car accident? What are the first few things?
Well, after you've been involved in an auto accident, probably the number one thing to do is just to make sure that you're in a safe spot. And a lot of times it may just mean staying in your vehicle. Roads are a pretty dangerous spot to be in. The second thing I probably would be doing if I was immediately in an accident is checking myself for any injuries and anybody who is an occupant of my vehicle. And if there are any substantial injuries, then obviously reaching out for medical assistance. And number three is if there are injuries, contact the police, obviously, to have assistance, medical assistance. And also if the accident's significant, even if there's no major injuries with it, you still probably want to contact the police, have an investigation done and a report written up. The police can also help assist in exchanging insurance information and making sure everybody has what they need to move forward. The last thing, obviously, would be if you're able to exchange insurance information with anybody who was involved in the accident.
While we're talking about phone calls, do you have to call the police and report an accident in Washington State?
Usually here in Washington, if it's a very, very minor accident, usually that means property damage under $1,000, no significant injuries, then you have no obligation to notify on that one. If it is a significant accident, meaning more than $1,000 in damage and any significant injuries, then yes, you have a duty to notify within 4 days of that accident.
What about insurance? Do you have to notify them?
Usually what your obligation is you have a duty to notify your own insurance carrier of any accident. Otherwise, it sometimes can be a basis for them to deny coverage potentially. So it's very, very important to do that. You have no obligation to help or even talk to a carrier that represents a different party in the accident.
Speaking of phone calls, we all have these smartphones in our pockets and our purses these days. How can a phone help after an auto accident?
Sure, your phone can be probably a great tool and also a big hindrance. And what I mean by that is it's fantastic for taking pictures of the scene, getting an idea of traffic flow, weather conditions, all these different things have impacts on accidents and how they develop. The hindrance part of it is you have to be smart again, in the sense that sometimes people get so eager to take pictures or to document things that they put themselves in pretty precarious situations. So if you use your smartphone, that's fine, but just make sure you're doing so safely.
Got it. So don't scoot out in the middle of traffic
Exactly.
to get the perfect shot.
Yeah.
All right. Let's assume that there is some level of pain after the accident. Do you have any advice related to getting medical treatment?
Well, I think probably the worst part about being in an accident for many people, and again, it varies by accident, but with a lot of accidents, the day of the accident, it may not seem like it's that bad. Then all of a sudden, day 2, day 3 comes, and that's when all of a sudden, especially for soft tissue damages, really start to pop up. So my best advice is if you start having pain anytime after an accident, immediately go get medical treatment for that, and then obviously follow any doctor recommendations to help make sure you get kind of back to where you were before the accident.
Now, this could totally sound self-serving, but try to be objective about it as much as you can. Why should someone call an attorney after an auto accident?
I think with an attorney, they can offer a number of services to people. With an accident, usually what you have is you have kind of a whole bunch of different damage that you go through. You have the physical damage in the sense of any injuries that you sustain, trying to get back up on your feet with those. Damages also usually take a pretty big emotional toll on people. And it's hard to go through it, and then hard to usually have an insurance company that's treating it like it's potentially your fault or trying to minimize kind of your pain and suffering through it. An attorney can help kind of navigate those things and take on some of that responsibility from you. So it really kind of lightens your load. And the last thing that an attorney can do is usually insurance companies make money by, unfortunately, not paying people. So an attorney can help make sure that you get the compensation that you need to move forward and try to put things back together.
Well, there you have it, folks, what to do after a car accident. Hopefully you found that helpful, and if you ever find yourself in a situation, I hope you won't, but if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need some legal help after a car accident, give Helland Law Group a call. They're going to take great care of you.